Imagine a bright morning at Miami International Airport. The air buzzes with excitement as passengers board a Horizon Air flight bound for Washington, D.C. This isn't just any flight. It's a first-class journey to a national civil rights conference where big names and bigger ideas are set to collide. The VIP cabin gleams with luxury. Soft leather seats invite you to sink in. Trays of complimentary champagne sparkle under the warm cabin lights. The faint hum of the engines promises a smooth ride ahead. Among the passengers is Ethan Brooks. He's about 35, a black man with a quiet presence. He wears a simple button-up shirt and glasses that rest low on his nose. He settles into seat 3A, pulls out a small notebook and starts jotting something down. To anyone watching, he looks ordinary, maybe too ordinary for a place like this.
The cabin fills up quickly. Well-dressed travelers chat about the conference, their voices a mix of confidence and anticipation. Then she walks in, Catherine Harper. You can't miss her. Blonde hair shines like platinum under the lights. Her tailored suit screams power and money. She's a US senator, a familiar face on TV, always flanked by an assistant who trails behind with a tablet in hand. She scans the cabin, her eyes sharp and calculating. They land on Ethan. Her lips tighten. She doesn't like what she sees. Without a word to him, she turns to the nearest flight attendant, Sarah Mitchell, a young woman with a polite smile and a crisp uniform. Catherine's voice cuts through the cabin chatter. I need that seat, she says, pointing at Ethan's spot. My assistant has work to do and I'm not sitting next to someone like him for 5 hours. Sarah blinks, caught off guard. She steps closer and lowers her voice. Ma'am, that seat is assigned. The passenger has a valid platinum ticket. Catherine doesn't flinch. Her tone sharpens. Do I look like I care about his ticket? I'm a senator. I don't pay for first class to be inconvenienced. Get him out of here.
Now heads turn. Passengers glance over their shoulders. A few pull out their phones, sensing trouble brewing. Ethan looks up from his notebook. He adjusts his glasses and speaks calmly. I have every right to be here. My ticket proves it. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out the boarding pass and holds it up for Sarah to see. She nods, confirming it's legit, but Catherine isn't having it. She steps closer, her voice dripping with disdain. Rights? Honey, you should know your place. This isn't it. The air thickens. Sarah hesitates, her smile fading. She tries to diffuse the situation. Sir, maybe we can find you another seat. Ethan shakes his head, his voice steady but firm. I paid for this one. I'm staying. Catherine rolls her eyes and snaps her fingers at Sarah. Call the captain. I'm done with this nonsense. Whispers ripple through the cabin. A woman in a red dress mutters to her neighbour. Probably can't even afford that ticket. Another passenger, a guy in a suit, starts recording on his phone. The tension is palpable now. You can feel it pressing against the walls of the plane. Ethan sits there, still calm, but his eyes are locked on Catherine. She smirks, confident she's about to win. Here's where things get interesting. Catherine Harper has no idea what she's just stepped into. She thinks she's in control, that her title and her money can move mountains, or at least one man out of a seat. But Ethan Brooks isn't just a passenger. He's something else entirely. This flight is about to become a battleground, and the fallout will shake more than just the skies. Stick around, folks, because justice is boarding this plane, and it's got a story to tell. Have you ever been judged unfairly on a flight? Maybe treated like you didn't belong? Drop your experiences in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button to see how this unfolds. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's rewind a bit and get to know Ethan Brooks. He's not just some guy with a notebook and a first-class ticket. Ethan is 35, a black man who grew up in a rough part of town. Picture cramped apartments, flickering street lights, and the constant hum of struggle. His mum worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table, but she faced her own battles. Ethan still remembers the day she was turned away from a flight. She'd saved up for months to visit family, but the gate agent took one look at her worn clothes and said there was no room, even though she had a ticket. That moment stuck with him. It lit a fire inside. He swore he'd make sure no one else felt that sting of rejection. Fast forward to today. Ethan is a secret advocate for a group called Equal Sky. They test airlines, rooting out discrimination one flight at a time. He's on this plane for a reason. He's headed to a civil rights conference in Washington, D.C. with a report that could change the industry. Tucked behind those glasses of his are a tiny camera and a micro recorder. Every word, every move, it's all being captured. Back in the VIP cabin, things are heating up. Sarah Mitchell, the flight attendant, looks uneasy. Catherine Harper's demand hangs in the air like a storm cloud. Get him out of here. Sarah glances at Ethan, then at Catherine, her hands fidgeting with her apron. She takes a breath and tries again. Ma'am, he's a Platinum member. He's within his rights. Catherine's eyes narrow. She leans in close to Sarah, her voice low but biting. I don't care what he is. I'm a senator. I've flown this airline 100 times. Do your job. Sarah hesitates, then nods. She steps away and picks up the intercom. Moments later, James Carter arrives. He's the supervisor, a tall guy with a clipboard and a no-nonsense stare. He approaches Ethan. Sir, we need you to move. It's for the comfort of all passengers. Ethan doesn't budge. I'm not breaking any rules. Check my ticket. James does, but his jaw tightens. He slips a hand into his pocket and you catch a glimpse of something, a folded envelope from Catherine. She'd handed it to him discreetly, whispering about doing the right thing. Money talks, even at 30,000 feet. The cabin grows restless. Phones are out, filming every second. A woman in a blue scarf mutters to her friend. This is ridiculous. A teenage kid yells out, Leave him alone. Ethan stays calm, but his fingers brush his glasses, activating the recorder. He speaks clearly. If I'm being removed, I want to know why. James falters, then doubles down. You're causing a disturbance, that's enough. He signals for backup. The tension is thick now. You can almost hear the collective heartbeat of the passengers. They're divided. Some side with Catherine, nodding at her status. Others glare at her, sensing the unfairness. Then the big guns arrive. Captain Mark Sullivan steps into the cabin. He's got grey hair and a stern face, the kind of guy who commands respect. He doesn't waste time. Sir, I'm the captain. We have the right to refuse service. You need to leave this seat now. You're disrupting the flight. Ethan looks up at Mark, unflinching. He adjusts his glasses again, making sure the camera catches everything. What policy am I violating? My ticket is paid. My seat is assigned. Mark crosses his arms. You're causing a scene. That's all I need. Catherine chimes in, her voice smug. I'm a senator. I shouldn't have to deal with this. Get him off my plane. Mark nods to the security team waiting at the door. 2 guards step forward, their badges glinting under the cabin lights. Ethan stands slowly, his movements deliberate. He picks up his bag and speaks loud enough for everyone to hear. This isn't over. The guards grab his arms, guiding him out. Catherine smirks, settling into her seat like a queen claiming her throne. Passengers film the whole thing. A man in a baseball cap shakes his head. That's messed up. The cabin door closes behind Ethan and the plane taxis toward takeoff. But here's where it flips. Ethan isn't done. He's barely off the plane when he pulls out his phone. He dials Rachel Turner, his partner at Equal Sky. Rachel, it's me. I've got it all on tape. Send the team to the next airport. We're going live. Back in Miami, the plane lifts off, but Ethan's already on the ground at a nearby stop. Rachel uploads the footage from his hidden camera. It hits the internet like a wildfire. #FlightBias trends within minutes. Millions watch Catherine's bribe, her insults, Mark's cold dismissal. The outrage explodes. People tweet, comment, share. This isn't just a rude senator, it's bigger. Ethan steps forward in a live stream from the airport. I'm Ethan Brooks, known to some as Shadow Advocate. I've spent years fighting discrimination in the skies. Today I was the target, but I'm not the victim, they are. He points to the screen showing Catherine's face. And here's the kicker. Catherine Harper once lobbied against laws protecting passengers like me. She called them unnecessary. Now the world sees her true colours. The climax hits hard. Ethan doesn't stop there. He holds an impromptu press conference right at the terminal. Reporters swarm him. Passengers from the flight, including a lawyer named Emily Davis, join in. She saw it all and offers to testify. Ethan lays it out. I'm suing Horizon Air and Senator Harper. This isn't just about a seat, it's about a system that lets this happen. The video's got everything. Bribes, threats, the works. Catherine thought she was untouchable. She picked the wrong fight. The plane lands in D.C. and Catherine steps off, oblivious to the storm waiting for her. Ethan's face is already on every screen. Her smug victory is about to crumble. The plane touches down in Washington, D.C., and Catherine Harper steps off with her head held high. She adjusts her jacket, flashes a practiced smile, and heads toward the terminal. She has no idea what's waiting. Outside, the world is buzzing. Ethan Brooks' video has taken over every screen, every social media feed. #FlightBias is trending #1. News outlets replay the footage on loop. Catherine's voice echoes through millions of homes. I don't want to sit near someone like him. Her bribe to James Carter flashes in high definition. The smug look on her face as Ethan is dragged away burns into the public's memory. Comments flood in. Disgusting. Hypocrite. Who does she think she is? Within hours, her career starts to unravel. Reporters dig into her past. They find speeches where she argued against passenger protection laws. She'd called them a waste of time, said airlines should have total control. Now those words haunt her. Her office issues a weak statement about misunderstandings, but it's too late. The damage is done. Catherine isn't the only one feeling the heat. Horizon Air scrambles to respond. Their PR team releases an apology, but it's drowned out by the outrage. Passengers boycott the airline. Protests pop up at airports across the country. Sarah Mitchell, James Carter and Mark Sullivan face the fallout fast. Horizon fires them within a day. Sarah tries to explain she was just following orders, but no one's buying it. James disappears from the spotlight, his career in shambles after that envelope was caught on camera. Mark, the captain, loses his wings, years of flying reduced to nothing because he chose power over fairness. The three of them become faces of failure, their names tied to the scandal forever. Catherine's fate is worse. The Senate launches an ethics investigation. Her party distances itself and constituents demand she resign. By week's end, she's out. No more plush office, no more private jets. The press dubs her the airline tyrant, a nickname that sticks like glue. She's a pariah now, shunned by the elite circle she once ruled. Ethan doesn't sit back and watch. He's already moving. With the video as evidence, he files a lawsuit against Horizon Air and Catherine Harper. His team at Equal Sky works around the clock. Rachel Turner, his partner, lines up lawyers, witnesses, and data from years of undercover work. Emily Davis, the lawyer from The Flight, steps up too. She'd filmed her own angle, catching Catherine's sneer in perfect detail. The case is airtight. Horizon settles fast, paying millions to avoid a drawn-out trial. Catherine fights longer, but her defense collapses under the weight of public pressure. The courtroom footage leaks online. Ethan stands tall, recounting the humiliation with quiet strength. The judge rules in his favor. Catherine's forced to pay damages, a final blow to her crumbling empire, but Ethan isn't after money. He donates every penny to Equal Sky, turning pain into purpose. Horizon Air can't dodge the reckoning. Ethan uses his win to force change. He meets with their board, laying out demands. They agree to overhaul their policies. Every employee, from ticket agents to pilots, goes through mandatory anti-discrimination training. No more turning a blind eye. They set up a fund for passengers wronged by bias, named after Ethan's mother. A quiet tribute to the woman who inspired him. The airline's CEO steps down, replaced by someone who vows transparency. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Passengers notice the difference. Complaints drop. Stories emerge of staff stepping in to stop unfair treatment. Horizon rebrands itself as a leader in fairness, clawing back trust one flight at a time. Ethan's report at the Civil Rights Conference seals the deal. He presents hard data, including his own experience, pushing other airlines to follow suit. The industry shifts, slowly but surely. Now here's where it gets beautiful. Ethan doesn't just walk away victorious. He looks back at the wreckage and sees a chance to build something better. At the conference, he takes the stage. His voice is steady, his words clear. Justice isn't just about punishment. It's about making sure no one else goes through what I did. The crowd erupts in applause. He announces a new Equal Sky initiative. Free training for airline workers who want to fight bias from the inside. He even reaches out to Sarah Mitchell. She's hesitant, ashamed, but he offers her a spot. She takes it. Months later, she's working at small airports, helping passengers like the ones she once failed. She's not the same person who stood silent that day. Ethan's fight isn't over, but he's planted. 6 months later, the skies look a little different. Ethan Brooks sits in his small office at Equal Sky headquarters. It's a modest space tucked away in a quiet corner of Miami. The walls are lined with photos. One shows his mum smiling, holding that old plane ticket she never got to use. Another captures the moment he spoke at the conference, a sea of faces cheering him on. His desk is cluttered with letters. Passengers from across the country write to thank him. A woman from Texas says she wasn't turned away from a flight because of his work. A kid from Chicago calls him a hero. Ethan reads each one, his glasses slipping down his nose like always. He doesn't do this for fame. He does it because he remembers what it's like to be invisible. Catherine Harper's world has shrunk. She's back in her hometown, far from the marble halls of the Senate. The airline tyrant label follows her everywhere. Local news still runs stories about her fall. She tried a comeback, a teary interview claiming she'd changed. But the public didn't bite. Her old allies avoid her calls. Her assistant quit months ago. She spends her days alone, scrolling through social media, watching Ethan's name rise while hers fades. It's a quiet punishment, but it fits. She'd built her life on power and privilege. Now she's got neither. Horizon Air keeps moving forward. The new CEO, a woman named Lisa Grant, invites Ethan to their annual meeting. She shakes his hand and says they owe him. The training he pushed for is working. Complaints are down. Employees wear pins with his mum's name, a small nod to the fight that changed them. Sarah Mitchell's there too. She's different now. Her uniform is simpler, her smile genuine. She tells Ethan she's sorry every chance she gets. He just nods and says, keep going. She does. She's training new hires at a regional airport, teaching them to speak up when it counts. James Carter and Mark Sullivan stay out of sight. Rumour has it James took a desk job somewhere quiet. Mark retired early, his captain's hat gathering dust. Ethan's not done yet. He's planning his next move. Equal Sky is growing. They've got volunteers in 10 cities, testing flights, gathering stories. He's writing a book too, not about himself, but about the people he's met, the ones who fought back, the ones who didn't get the chance. He wants their voices heard. Late at night, he thinks about that flight, the humiliation, the anger, the strength it took to stand up. It wasn't just his win. It was theirs too. He looks out his window at the planes overhead. Each one's a chance now, a chance to do better. The camera pans up to the sky. A Horizon jet streaks across, its logo fresh and proud. Ethan's voice fades in one last time. We all deserve a seat, not just on a plane, but in this world. Keep fighting for yours. The screen goes black. Text pops up. Thanks for watching. Share your story below. Subscribe for more. See you soon. It's a simple ending, but it lingers. Ethan Brooks isn't just a name anymore. He's a reminder, a spark, and the skies will never be the same.